Madam Speaker, the members of Cabinet, Honourable Leader of Opposition, members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, I rise to support the motion before the House, and I acknowledge and congratulate the Honourable Minister for Economy for a comprehensive 2018-2019 budget. Madam Speaker, the budget denotes the Fiji First Government's direction and firm commitments towards ensuring that wider and meaningful public consultations were conducted in the process of formulating it. The consultation is evidently participatory and inclusive to affirm that all the Fijians say on this budget matters to government in addressing our genuine needs, addressing our hopes, addressing all the Fijian people's dreams to move our country forward, especially in pursuing the growth of Fiji's rural and maritime economy. To this end, this budget fully empowers government's ongoing commitment towards rural development, fully embracing the vast impact it has on the lives of ordinary Fijians who reside in our rural and maritime areas. Madam Speaker, my speech will focus on the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development. And this afternoon, I will start with a few statistics on Fiji's rural and maritime population. The result of the 2017 National Census revealed to us that 44.1%, or 390,635 of Fiji's population, resides in the rural and maritime area. On the other hand, the urban population was recorded to be 55.9%, or 494,252. Therefore, the rural maritime population, Madam Speaker, has decreased by 5.0%, or 21,790 from the previous national census conducted in 2007. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, the 2017 national census indicated a population increase of 16.3%, or 69,406 for urban residents, and that, Madam Speaker, was attributed mainly to the extension of urban areas as well as the increase in rural to urban drift. Madam Speaker, I also draw your attention to related and interesting findings from the 2018 and 2014 National Household Income and Expenditure Survey. Madam Speaker, this national survey reported a decline in the incidence of rural poverty from 43% in 2008 to 2009 to 36.7% in 2013 and 2014. Madam Speaker, to further break this recorded percentage difference by divisions, the incidence of poverty in the rural areas of the Western Division indicated a notable decline of 16.5% between 2008 to 2009 and 2013 to 2014 household survey, while rural poverty in the Eastern and Northern Division had reportedly increased to 2.5% and 12% respectively. For rural areas in the Central Division, the incidence of poverty had showed a less than 1% increase, or 0.9%, or to be exact, from 36% to 39.6.9%. Madam Speaker, if we were to also consider the geographical spread of poverty in the rural areas of Fiji, of the total rural population of 49.2%, which is slightly less than that of the country's total, the highest number resides in the Central Division, comprising of 33.9%, and closely followed by the Western Division, which is 32.2%. Madam Speaker, a key finding also drawn from these official statistics revealed that our rural dwellers were overrepresented in as far as the rural and urban distribution of Fiji's poor population was concerned. Hence, 62.6% are reported poor and living in the rural areas. Madam Speaker, these national statistics which I have just mentioned are important to highlight because they are basis for both ongoing and new initiatives of government that are budgeted for to accommodate or to address the needs of our rural and maritime communities. Obviously, Madam Speaker, the government provides and will continue to do so in providing the means to empower deserving individuals, deserving families, and deserving communities in assessing better and brighter opportunities to raise their standard of living and meeting government's commitment in achieving national development targets. Madam Speaker, I am confident that this budget will address the current realities while at the same time prepare every Fijian family for the unforeseen future. The budget expressively places an emphasis on the family unit, allowing our families as rural and maritime dwellers to enjoy the same opportunities available in the urban areas. This is primarily, Madam Speaker, the basis of my support for the 2018 and 2019 budgets. Madam Speaker, the budget most definitely demonstrates government's recognition of the remoteness and isolation of our rural and maritime communities, and restates its commitment in developing strategies and programs that would address this isolation through providing opportunities made available to them. These opportunities are reflected in the health, education, fisheries, forest, agriculture, and the infrastructure budgetary provisions. Madam Speaker, the 2018 to 2019 budget for the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development provides a sum of 21.7 million, an increase of 1.2 million from the 2017 to 2018 financial year budgets. This increase is attributed to the increase in operating expenditure and in the public sector investment program, including civil, fencing and landscaping works for the construction of new assistant district offices at Namarai and Korolevu government stations. These new offices are expected to improve government services provided to the people of Nakorotumbu Coastal in the Ra province, and also the island of Watulele and the Mbarabi Coastal in the Nandronga province. Madam Speaker, a sum of 2.8 million is allocated for the construction of government stations at Wunindawa in Middle Naitasiri, in Wainikoro in Maduata, the government station in Kumbulau in Bua, and the government station in Wainua, which is in the upper reaches of the Naitasiri province. Madam Speaker, this new ADO office is to ensure government's reach of 24/7 into these areas. Madam Speaker, this is the third financial year the budget has been allocated for project preparatory works for the Ministry's public sector investment programs. The project preparatory works budget ensures that the divisional commissioners plan well in advance and are well prepared to implement government's capital works. Delays in land acquisition, delays in land survey and ground preparation resulting in prolonged project implementation will now be mitigated. Madam Speaker, a sum of $740,030 is again allocated for our district advisory councillors. Monthly allowances, administrative expenses for the 2018-2019 financial year. The allowances, Madam Speaker, is meant to cover the cost of their role as advisors, representing the designated district and serving as the conduit between government and the people. Madam Speaker, The government road shows continue to be part of government's effort to maximize awareness of its services to the rural and maritime areas. It continues to be a popular program, and it is an opportunity for government and stakeholders in the private sector to reach out more and improve service delivery to our rural and remote communities. In addition, Madam Speaker, it promotes the exposure and focus on our rural school children to be reasonably knowledgeable on the types of career they can pursue upon completion of their primary and secondary education. Madam Speaker, the budget for government roadshow is maintained at 200,000. 3 roadshows have been successfully conducted in this current financial year, and in the final one is scheduled for the Western Division in the middle of this month, July. Madam Speaker, the Ministry plans to hold another 4 roadshows in the next financial year, 1 for each division. Madam Speaker, the Ministry's capital program budget for the rural and maritime areas is tagged at 4 million, including an allocation of 1.5 million for self-help projects, 2 million for the construction of community access roads, footpaths, and footbridges, which was normally known as non-cane access roads, and 500,000 allocation for emergency water supply. Madam Speaker, the construction of community access roads, footpaths, and footbridges promote better infrastructure, safety, and decent living of our rural and maritime communities. They are also means to access basic services and better roads for income generating, accessing health services, schools, and also their markets. Madam Speaker, the program therefore aims to improve living standard by providing the means for improving access to better opportunities and growth. Madam Speaker, the recent foot crossing completed for the 2 tidal islands of Ngoma and Nambulemulewa off the northern coast of Tailevu provides safety for children to walk to school instead of having to wade through seawaters or boat transfers. Madam Speaker, the Grant to Self-Help program is to empower our rural population with social and income-generating initiatives, and the Ministry has over the past 3 years focused on increasing this. This grant provides the financial resources to all Fijians, even in the remotest communities, to develop and support income-generating projects that are viable and sustainable. Madam Speaker, the emergency water supply allocation is also to assist our rural communities in the provision of water during periods of emergencies. Madam Speaker, the Rural Housing Assistance Programs, as announced during the budget address, will now be administered under the new Ministry of Housing and Community Development. Nevertheless, I note that the Ministry of Rural Development will continue to support this program through our Provincial Administration Office by identifying our communities, our rural communities that require housing assistance, and also our rural and maritime people to be trained to build resilient homes and are funded from the Rural Carpentry Training Allocation. Madam Speaker, with the new budgetary provisions, the Ministry will continue to bring a difference and at the same time build the resilience in the lives of our rural and maritime population. On that note, Madam Speaker and honorable members of the House, I fully commend the 2018-2019 budget and thank you for your indulgence. Vinaka.